Coming up on a special edition of Inside Michigan Basketball, the Big Ten campaign is underway on the hardwood, and an NFL executive told Michigan Athletic Director Jim Hackett, "You didn't just get a coach, you got the best coach in football." Inside Michigan Basketball, delivered by UPS. College basketball coaches will tell you there are 4 parts to every season: the preseason, the non-conference portion of their schedule, the conference play, and then what they hope will be the postseason. For Michigan, an uncharacteristic 7-5 start before Big Ten play began on a Tuesday afternoon against Illinois. They take on an Illinois club that was 10-3 during their non-conference part of the schedule and had plenty of bridges to burn against the Wolverines. Why? Well, because Michigan had won the previous 7 in a row head-to-head showdowns. It looked like Illinois would snap that trend, but they celebrated too early. Michigan shot the ball well early. Karis LeVert, who had been struggling with his shot, drilled a 3 and then a tough step-back jumper with the shot clock winding down.
Blocks the dribble against Hill, drives now, step-back floater from 18, good.
LeVert would score 6 straight Michigan points at one point, but the Illini forced turnovers, grabbed offensive rebounds, and hit a couple of big triples of their own, and they went on a 7-0 run to take their first lead of the game. They stayed in front thanks to their long-range shooting, hitting 3 of their first 5 triple tries. Aubrey Dawkins would knock down a 3, and Max Bielfeldt would get an offensive rebound and putback to tie it at 20. But Illinois outscored Michigan 10-4 down the first half stretch. That included a late 3-point play from LaRon Black, and the Illini led it 32-26 at the break. Illinois kept its sharp shooting eye focused in the second half with long-range guns from both Malcolm Hill and Ahmad Starks. Karis LeVert carried Michigan. He had a contested jumper, then had a key knockaway and a transition jam.
Chapman floats it up ahead for him. He'll take it and stuff it through.
But Michigan missed their first 6 triple attempts and was just 4 for their first 16, digging themselves a double-digit hole. They would crawl out of it, though, thanks to a huge 3-point barrage led by Zach Irvin and freshman Aubrey Dawkins.
Irvin wants the 3, got the 3. 3 straight triples for the Michigan offense to pull to within 6. No looks left corner, LeVert touch pass, Dawkins eyes the 3, bingo! Another triple from Aubrey Dawkins, who's reached double digits for the first time.
I knew my time was coming eventually, but maybe not to that extent. I mean, I didn't think I'd go how many 3s I made, but I shocked myself a little bit. I shot the ball. I've been shooting the ball okay in practice, nothing particularly crazy, but I surprised myself a little bit, and I guess I surprised everybody else too.
The Wolverines then worked inside with some sweet pocket passes to Ricky Doyle, who was one of 4 Wolverines in double figures. He had 12 on a 5 of 6 shooting night. This one would end up going to overtime, and it stayed the Irvin and Dawkins show, both ringing up 3s, and then Karis LeVert with a shifty move inside for a floater. That gave Michigan a 69-63 lead, a lead they would never relinquish. They would stretch it to double digits, but win it by 8, their 8th straight win in the series against the Illini.
We went down 13 with, I think, 11 minutes to go, and we just kept telling each other to just stay connected. We'd get this done. We had that mindset, and we were able to get the win tonight.
So down by as many as 13, somehow, some way, your club was able to fight and scratch its way back, even though it didn't shoot the ball very well in the first half. What was the difference in the second half? Did you guys like the shots you got in the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, going into halftime, we did like the way we had the shots we had taken. We had a lot go in and out, and we have to work on that. But I thought we were in a good place, even though they have really good defense. They're some of the best defense in the Big Ten. We felt we were getting the shots that we wanted to get. Just didn't go in, so keep shooting them. Keep shooting when you're open.
It's a different feel when the Big Ten campaign begins. How do you think your freshmen reacted, early and then later?
Well, at home, it probably is easier at home. At the same time, when the crowd is charged like they were, and you have to, Ricky and Aubrey had to make big plays, which they did, that's huge for us. And so certainly it's different when you're on the road. At the same time, really felt good just about them playing out there and how comfortable they were on the big stage.
Let's talk about Aubrey Dawkins just a little bit. Back-to-back games where he boasts career-high numbers, but first time he ever reached double digits, 20 points, and he looked very comfortable, very under control while doing it. Here's where, when you know when a kid really has that thing about him where he's under control. When he got fouled, he went to the foul line, and I watched both shots like it had no chance of missing. And now you really have to think about, wow, it's not just grab and shoot it in. I'm thinking, man, is this really happening? And then all of a sudden he knocks both of them down. So he had a calm demeanor about him that I think is very impressive. Congratulations on another victory. Thanks, Matt. With Michigan's first Big Ten home win in their back pocket, they now look for their first road kill of the conference schedule. And later on, Ed Kongursky sits down with the man of the hour. Welcome, Jim Harbaugh.
Purdue had the size advantage with a pair of legit 7-footers, but they used their wings to take an early lead, led by Rayfeld Davis. He used his transition game to score 5 of the Boilermakers' first 9 points. And it got physical inside, and the Wolverines proved they weren't going to be pushed around. They found their 3-point shooting stroke as well with Max Bielfeldt, Derek Walton, and Zach Irvin drilling long-range jumpers. They built a 20-16 lead with about 5 minutes to play, and then they extended that lead to double digits after back-to-back threes from Spike Albrecht.
For Albrecht into the front court, jumps into a triple drag. Give me that!
After a mini Purdue run, Albrecht responded with another launch just before the half ended.
Gets a high screen from Doyle. Fires for 3. Got it!
U of M led at 33-25 at the break. But Purdue came out focused and in a foul mood in the second. They got 5 quick points from Vince Edwards, a driving layup by John Octius, and a straightaway 3 from Kendall Stevens to tie it. The Boilers would extend that lead with an and-one from A.J. Hammond, and the Boilers led at 43-39. U of M, in the meantime, was ice cold, missing 13 straight shots at one point. They went scoreless for over 11 minutes. Karis LeVert finally came through with a floater to get within 4, but Purdue pushed right back and took its largest lead of the game with just under 5 minutes to go. Kendall Stevens, a 3-point bucket, their 3-point sharpshooter, helping Purdue build that 10-11 and eventually what became an even bigger lead. They put it in cruise control from there, doubling up Michigan on the glass, putting 3 in double figures, led by A.J. Hammond's second double-double of the year. U of M loses at 64-51 after hitting just 4 of their 22 second-half shots. They dropped to 1-1 in Big Ten play.
Our defense at time was pretty good. It was the 50-50 basketballs, and we had a lot of good shots. Layups, good shots didn't go in. You're not going to beat a team 31%. Now, they forced us into some bad shots, but at the same time, we cannot shoot like that and win games. Can't tell you why we'd missed some of those easy ones, but we did. It's huge difference in the game. Based on, though, the way Purdue's mental and physical toughness in that second half, you know, we lose by whatever we lost by, lose by 4. We're going to lose that game until we can get a little bit more edge in us when things start going the other way.
Our Al Rose Steel Ironman of the week, Spike Albrecht. He matched a career high with 17 points in the loss at Purdue. In the previous 5 games, Albrecht was 1 for 12 from downtown. In the game against Purdue, he was 4 of 5 from deep range and the only Wolverine in double figures.
I was just able to get into a good rhythm. You know, my teammates did a good job setting me up, finding me when I was open. Big guys set good screens, and, you know, it's easy when you get the first one to drop, you know, build your confidence a little bit.
And now with a women's story, here's Sarah Van Meter.
Thanks, Matt. The new calendar year got off to a great start as Michigan dominated Penn State on January 1st. The Wolverines led by as many as 40 points in an 89-53 win over the Lady Lions. Freshman Caitlin Flaherty led all scorers with 21 points, while senior Saisha Goree recorded her 5th straight double-double with 20 points and 12 rebounds. The Spartans came calling Sunday, and after MSU took a 4-0 lead, it was all Michigan. The Wolverines scored inside and out and took a 41-31 lead into the break. Michigan scored the first 10 points of the second half and led by 20 points. But MSU went on an 11-0 run of their own, cutting Michigan's lead to as little as 7 points. But Michigan stayed tough, and this Sierra Thompson shot gave the home team a 12-point lead. She finished with 17 points, and Flaherty nailed 5 shots from beyond the arc on her way to 21 points. 74-65, the final from Chrysler Center. It was Michigan's 10th win of the season, and they improved to 2-1 in Big Ten play. The Wolverines are off to Rutgers on Wednesday before returning home to Chrysler to host Ohio State on Sunday. For Inside Michigan Basketball, I'm Sarah Van Meter.
Thanks, Sarah. Stay right there. When we come back, an exclusive sit-down one-on-one with Jim Harbaugh. Ed Kongursky asks the questions you want to ask. Next on Inside Michigan Basketball.
Just beyond the horizon, the doors have opened on a new era of Michigan football.
To come back as a football coach at the University of Michigan, I have to tell you that I have thought about that, dreamed about that since the time I was a young lad, 9, 10 years old, and throughout adult life, dreamed about coaching at Michigan, and now it's time to live that. And I have no other words to really describe how that feels, except to tell you that I have great excitement about the challenge of serving the University of Michigan as your football coach.
Harbaugh was welcomed to campus with a private reception. That's where we learned more about his drive, his determination, and the qualities that make him an elite coach.
I've heard today about Jim's competitiveness. When did you see that in him as a young boy?
About the time he started to walk. I think that's always been there. And I think it's the same thing. John and Jim were only 15 months apart. They shared a bedroom for all of the lives that they spent, their lives they spent together with us. And so they had to compete. If you didn't compete, you were in deep, deep trouble.
He wanted to win every down. He brought that mentality, and that mentality really impacted his teammates, not only on offense, but on defense.
I could see Jim throwing 26 points in the basketball hoop as a 7th grader, 6th grader. He was a very talented athlete and had that little swagger and that confidence that he didn't get rattled. As he predicted one time, we all remember in Columbus, and we came through with a big victory.
Approximately 200 media members attended his first news conference, the highest turnout in school history for such an event. On several occasions, Harbaugh referenced the great men who came before him, and an inauspicious start with one of them.
My first team meeting, I was 10 minutes late to the first team meeting. Coach Schembechler told me that I would never play a single down at the University of Michigan my entire career.
He was asked about the lifeline of any program, recruiting.
You're selling something that you believe in your core. You know, to everything you know and like you know your name, I know Michigan football and believe in Michigan football. And that will not be a hard job.
Next, a trip to Schembechler Hall and an unexpected guest awaiting his arrival, junior defensive tackle Andre Pipkins.
I feel like I'm standing on this foundation that is just so rock solid. I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of tall men, and I can't thank you enough. I can't thank the alumni enough, the students, the faculty, for the enthusiasm that you've all shown to my family and I.
The timing of the day could not have been better. An afternoon basketball game to meet the masses.
Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. He's been that way wherever he's gone coaching. And
the thing I think that it does, it rekindles the Michigan spirit of the alums, the former players that have kind of been off of the tracks a little bit. They're all back in the fold right now because of one name, Jim Harbaugh, and that is a good thing.
As Harbaugh left the court, in exchange with a former teammate outside the Blavin Tunnel, running back Jamie Morris. Days like this are full of hope and anticipation. These words from Harbaugh may best summarize the mission before him.
I want to do a good job. Want to be good. We want to win. We want to win at practice. We want to win on the practice field. We want to win in the classroom. We want to win in the community. We want to win on fall Saturday afternoons, and we'll have great expectations for that.
On several occasions, Harbaugh thanked the Board of Regents, President Mark Schlissel, and Athletic Director Jim Hackett. He also, quote, pledged to carry forward the excellence that is Michigan. Still to come on Inside Michigan Basketball, our one-on-one with the new coach, including his thoughts on the men who most influenced his career. We're back after a short break.
Inside Michigan Basketball, delivered by UPS, is brought to you in part by Absol Pure Water, the official bottled water of the Michigan Wolverines.
There's certain words in the English language that we embrace. Family, friends, teammates, victory. There was definitely another word. When I drove into Ann Arbor, it felt homecoming. And this is the third time I've come back to Ann Arbor. Moved here once in 1973, again in 1982 as a recruited athlete and student, and then and now. And I've always thought about coaching here like my dad, who coached here in the 70s, and I've thought about coaching here at different parts of my life and career, and now and dreamed about it, and now it's time to live it.
20th head coach in Michigan football history. When I say those words, what goes through your mind?
I'm very excited and and humbled, and also very excited about the challenge. Michigan is a school of excellence across all disciplines, and the excellence of the football program and the tradition of the football program is so important to the university and to all those who participate and have participated and who will participate. And I pledge to do my very best to maintain the tradition.
I want to throw a couple names out at you. Jack Harbaugh, Bo Schembechler, Mike Ditka. What did those guys instill in you to help lead to the success you've had as a coach?
Oh, so much. My dad, Bo Schembechler, two men that studied very closely. And most of what I know in football is from those two. Mike Ditka, one of my very favorite coaches and leaders. And we could sit here and talk for a very long time about those three men.
Years ago, you made a very famous guarantee here and delivered on it. Is there any sort of guarantee you want to put out there now for Michigan fans and alums who are going to watch this and they're so ready for this fall and ready for this next season? But there's any kind of guarantee you want to put out there for them to hear?
You know, I learned from that guarantee not to make guarantees. And but we will have high expectations, great expectations for the first week of practice, for the first week of winter conditioning, for the first team meeting. I want to make those the best that we possibly can.
So Jim Harbaugh has learned some of the past lessons that he was so famous for. Now, you and I both were at that press conference. We saw the amount of alums come back, not just alums from the University of Michigan, but players as well. He seems to have bridged the gap to any factions that might be present.
You know, he really has, Matt. He talked a lot about building on the foundation and building on the shoulders of the men who came before him. And when you're at Michigan, you have to do that. You have to acknowledge the people who came before and built this great place and this great program to what it is.
Starts September 3rd on the road in Utah, who beat the Wolverines earlier this year at the Big House. What a fantastic two-day stretch for the Wolverines. The 16th Great Lakes Invitational in the history of hockey program. John Beilein in Michigan wins the Big Ten opener, and Jim Harbaugh is the new head coach of Michigan football. It doesn't get any better than that. We'll try to duplicate it for you, though, next week on Inside Michigan Basketball. Hope you can join us. Happy New Year, everybody, and go blue.